SteamOS, the operating system from Valve Software that powers the Steam Deck, is now available for download and installation on PC handhelds, offering an easy-to-use and constantly improving console-like experience. And in this video, I'll be guiding us step-by-step on how to get SteamOS set up as quickly as possible on the Lenovo Legion Go, so we can play the games in our Steam library and use the device's functionality to its maximum current potential. To get started installing SteamOS on our device, there are a few things we need first: a USB-C stick, USB memory stick and USB-C adapter, or a microSD card, minimum 16 GB in size. And before proceeding with installation, it is important to understand that Windows will be completely wiped from our device and replaced with SteamOS. If you wish to dual boot SteamOS and Windows, please use my guide linked in the description after SteamOS is installed and all set up. So before we get started installing SteamOS on our device, please give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment and share this video with others. From our Windows desktop, we want to access our web browser, and from the search field we want to type SteamOS and press enter, and choose the first link that appears, which is for the official SteamOS website. On the landing page, we want to read through all the documentation and come down to General FAQ, where on the last line we're going to choose here, this link, to be taken to the SteamOS Recovery and Installation website, where we want to scroll down until we see Re-image and Install SteamOS. We're going to choose Download the Recovery Image here, which is number 1, and on the Download SteamOS Steam Deck Image page, we're going to go down, read through the agreement, accept, and download the SteamOS Deck image to our Downloads folder. During the download, we want to go back on our web browser and we want to come over to number 2 for Re-image and Install SteamOS. And we want to choose this link here for the Rufus utility. We need to make sure to select this link and choose Continue to External Site. And on the official rufus.ie webpage, we want to scroll down until we see rufus47.exe. Choose this and download to your Downloads folder. With both of those files downloaded, we want to open our File Explorer, go to Downloads, and we want to load Rufus that we've just downloaded. And after a few moments, Rufus will load, and at this point we want to insert our USB-C stick, USB memory stick, or microSD card into the device. Once our memory stick is inserted, we're going to see it show up on our device list like so. In this case, I'm using a 64 GB USB-C stick. And under boot selection, I'm going to choose Select to be taken to my Downloads folder, and I'm going to choose the Steam Deck Repair.img and press Open. And at this point, we just simply want to go ahead and press Start for everything on the USB stick to be erased and replaced with the SteamOS installer. So just press OK and all these messages, and after around 5 to 10 minutes, depending on the speed of your USB stick, the process will complete. Once the SteamOS recovery image has finished writing to our USB, we want to close Rufus and close any folders we have open, and we want to hold press on the Start menu and choose Shut Down. Before we install SteamOS, we need to make one important change within the device's BIOS, which we can access with the device powered off by holding the volume up button, and we want to press power once. And after a few brief moments, our device's button menu will appear, and we want to choose the second option for BIOS setup. And here we want to choose more settings, and afterwards we'll arrive on the Legion Go's main BIOS screen, where we need to make 2 quick changes. First, we need to go inside Configuration, and we want to scroll down to UMA Frame Buffer Size. We want to choose from this drop-down list and we want to set our UMA frame buffer size to auto. Afterwards, let's go to security, and we want to scroll down until we see secure boot, and we want to change this from enabled to disabled. Once both of those changes have been completed, we want to select exit, and then we want to choose exit saving changes. And after saving changes, we'll boot back into Windows again, where we just want to hold press on the start menu and choose shutdown again. And with our device powered off, after the BIOS changes have completed, we want to hold volume up and press power once. And this time on the button menu, we want to choose the third option for boot menu. And we should see our USB-C stick or USB stick appear in the list underneath Windows Boot Manager. And we're going to select this for the SteamOS installer to load. Once the desktop loads, we're going to see 4 options available on the desktop. The one we want to choose is wipe device and install SteamOS, which is the 4th option. Just going to tap this once, and after a brief moment we're going to see a console window and a prompt appear asking us if we wish to proceed with the installation, which is going to wipe the device completely and install SteamOS. Once you're ready, go ahead and press proceed. And now SteamOS will be installed to your device, and the process will take around 2 to 3 minutes to complete. If your screen goes black at any point during the installation, we just want to press our power button once quickly, and this will wake up the device. Eventually we're going to see that the reimage was successful, and we'll get a prompt telling us to proceed to reboot the system now. So let's go ahead and press proceed. And once the device is restarted and SteamOS is installed, we need to choose our language, we need to choose our time zone, and enter our Wi-Fi password to connect to the internet and install updates. The update process can take a few moments depending on your internet connection, so just wait for this to complete and the device will restart into the next stage of installation. And once the device restarts, we'll land on the login screen where we want to go ahead and log in to our Steam account. After logging into Steam, it may be the case that we're stuck on loading user data. So if this happens to you, we just want to press the Legion L button, go down to power, choose this and select restart to restart the Legion Go. And after restarting, we just want to choose our Wi-Fi and go ahead and log in again. And after logging in, we're going to take a quick tour of the device by tapping on the screen. And eventually we're going to land on SteamOS Gaming Mode's home screen, where we want to choose the left Legion button, go down to settings, go down to system, and we want to make sure that we always check for updates to make sure that we're on the latest version of SteamOS. And we can always check which version of SteamOS we're currently on by going down to OS version. We can also see our BIOS version, and we can see that we're using a Ryzen Z1 Extreme, our RAM size, etc. Now back on the home screen again, let's press the Legion L button, go down to settings, and we want to go down to controller, where we'll see Lenovo Legion Go controller. Let's begin a test on our device inputs to make sure they're all working correctly. We can see the face buttons work, D-pad, R1, L1, L2, depending on how much we press, and our right trigger, start and select, our analogues, L4, R4, and L5 and R5. We can also see Legion L appearing, and Legion R doesn't show, but it is working. And if we press B, hold it to exit, and press Legion R to bring up our right quick access menu. where we can adjust our brightness, audio, microphone, and toggle our Wi-Fi, Bluetooth or night mode alongside our rumble and haptics. And if we go over to the performance tab, we can change our overlay level for when we're in game, open advanced view, and we can adjust our frame limit like so, disable frame limit, allow tearing, half rate shading, manual GPU clock, scaling mode, and scaling filter. Now that SteamOS is installed, we can go ahead and start downloading all of our games for our device to play later. But for now, at the time of this video, we need to install a few more things from desktop mode, which we can access by pressing the Legion L button, going down to power, and then switching to desktop mode. Now once we're in desktop mode for the Legion Go on SteamOS, there's a few things we need to be aware of. The first is that we can use the touchscreen to select, and the trackpad does work, however we need to use R2 to make a selection. And overall I do prefer using the touchscreen, but due to everything being so small and the resolution being set to 1600, it can be difficult to make selections, so it is advised to use a USB keyboard or mouse to make navigating the system in desktop mode easier. The next thing we want to do is go to System Settings on the taskbar, and immediately we want to go over to Display and Monitor, and here we're going to see Global Scale. We want to turn this up to around 200% and press Apply. We want to close System Settings, and when we reopen we'll see that everything is much easier to read than before. Now with System Settings open, we want to scroll down to the very bottom and choose Users. Here we want to select Change Password, and in the field we want to press X to bring up our Steam keyboard. For example purposes, I'm going to type Deck and then re-enter, and on the prompt that appears we're just going to press Leave Unchanged. Once our password is set, we need to go to Firefox from the taskbar, which will load the Discover Store, and we need to select Install in the top right hand corner and wait for the process to complete. And once Firefox has downloaded, we can go ahead and select Launch, and once Firefox loads, we're going to go into our search bar, press the X button, and we're going to type Decky, like so. And we're going to select the first result shown for Decky Loader, and in the top right hand corner we're going to choose Download, and we're going to download this to our Downloads folder. So we want to minimize this window, close the Discover Store, and then we want to open our file browser. On the left hand side we're going to see Downloads, and then we're going to see Decky Installer. We're going to choose this and choose Execute, followed by Continue, and once loaded we're going to be asked for our password that we just set, so I'm going to press the X button and I'm going to type Deck, press Enter, close the keyboard, and we want to choose Release, recommended for stable SteamOS, and press OK. Once the installation is complete, we can go ahead and press OK, and afterwards we want to close our Downloads window, and then we want to come over to our application launcher, go inside All Applications, and we need to make sure that we load a Konsole. So go down to K and choose Konsole, and the window will appear like so. Now with our Konsole window open, we need to go to Firefox, and in our search field we want to press the X key, and we want to type Simple Decky TDP. And then press Enter, close the keyboard, and we want to choose this one, the first result shown. Now on the GitHub page for Simple Decky TDP, we just need to scroll down until we see from the list installation, and if we select this, we'll be taken there. And we want to choose quick install update, and we want to make sure that we press copy on this line of code. So afterwards we want to minimize this window, and back in our console we want to simply choose paste, and then we can go ahead and press the A button, press the X key to bring up the Steam keyboard when we're requested for our password. I'm going to type deck, and it will show like nothing is typing in, but it is, so just press enter and wait for the process to complete, and once done we can close the Steam keyboard and return to Firefox. And next we need to go into our search field, we need to press the X button, and we need to type Legion Go Remapper and then press enter. We want to select on the first result shown Decky Plugin for remapping Legion Go controls under the following GitHub. On the GitHub page we want to scroll down until we see Quick Install Update under Install Instructions. So we can see this one. We want to select this to be taken there, and we have another quick install code copy where we can just select to copy the line of code, minimize Firefox and return to the console window, where we can simply go ahead and press paste followed by the A button. And provided that we already entered our password on the previous code run, our password shouldn't need to be entered, but if it does, just press X and enter your password like before. Now once that's completed, let's close the console window and return to the Discover store to install one last thing. We want to press X in our search field, and we want to search for Proton and then press enter. From the search results we're going to see a program called Proton Up Qt. We want to select on this, and then we want to choose install in the top right hand corner. Once Proton Up Qt is downloaded, we want to choose launch in the top right hand corner, and once the window loads we're going to choose add version, and we're going to install whichever version appears first and select install. A progress bar will appear at the bottom, and once completed Proton GE will now be installed and can be selected for all of our games within gaming mode. So afterwards we just want to close this window and close this one and then return to gaming mode. Once we're back in gaming mode, we want to press the right Legion button to bring up our right quick access menu. From here we'll notice that there is a new plug icon available. This is for the Decky loader that we just installed, and inside are our plugins for Legion Go Remapper and Simple Decky TDP. Let's start with the Legion Go Remapper. When we go inside we need to enable RGB control and then also controller LED. And when we open this menu we can change our LEDs from solid to dynamic, pulse and spiral, altering individual settings for each of these, such as brightness, speed and the hue color that we want to be in effect. In addition, we can remap buttons by toggling Enable Controller Remaps. We can enable and disable the touchpad, and we can change our Y and M buttons to another function available. In addition, we have toggles for our left and right gyros, depending on which function we wish to assign. Next, let's take a look at the Simple Decky TDP plugin. Inside here we have our TDP in watts that we can set the device to. Currently I have the maximum set to 15, but if I change the maximum to 23, I can now set the active TDP to 23. With the minimum TDP I can change this so I only go down to 8 watts, and then the same with max TDP again. I can go all the way up to 40 and change the maximum to 40 like so. For a good balance of performance and battery life, I recommend keeping the system at 20 watts, going higher or lower as necessary. Now with the Legion Go, we have the option available to change our TDP power profiles by doing the following action. We just press the left Legion button and then press the Y button. So we go Legion L and then Y to change power profiles. And you can see the light changing. We'll start with the blue one. This is 10 watts. And if we press Legion L and Y again, we'll go to white, which is 15 watts. If we press Legion L and Y again, this is 20 watts. And then if we press Legion L and Y again, we'll go to purple, which the camera might not show very well, but this is our 30 watt custom mode. However, once we have manually changed our TDP at the time of this video, it is the case that our controls become a bit messed up. So we need to press on the menu button, power, and restart SteamOS. Now once we're back in gaming mode, we can see that our left and our right quick access menu buttons work and all our controls are back to normal, and we're now in that 30 watt custom profile mode. So hopefully this bug gets fixed where the controllers mess up after changing TDP values through the manual assignment of Legion L and Y. Now I'm currently in game with Doom the Dark Ages, and I currently have the 30 watt custom profile enabled. If I press the Legion L button and then press Y again, my TDP will go down to 10 watts, which is the blue light at the top of the device. If I press Legion L and Y again, I'll go up to 15 watts. And if I press Legion L and Y again, I'll go to 20 watts, which is the recommended setting for performance and battery life. So I hope this guide helped you with installing SteamOS on your Lenovo Legion Go, and if you run into any issues or have any questions, please leave a comment below and we can all try to help each other out and understand any similar problems. And if you enjoyed this guide and learned something new today, please give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, share this video with others, and until next time, have a wonderful day, look out for one another, and I'll see you later.